Live says going live. Yeah, this Hangout on Air is live. Hey everybody, it's Carla Fleming, founder of the Mindful Maven Book Club Party. And we're coming to you live right now from the Erie County Public Library. It's been daylight savings time around here, so we've got this bright sunshine coming in. It's just a gorgeous day to be at the library. Am I right? Please hear us. Yes. We've got a fabulous group of people here live, and tonight we're going to be discussing the book, The War of Art by Steven Pressfield. So I think it's going to be a great night. We're so happy to have you here with us live. Did you know it is our 6-month anniversary? So I'm just so excited to think about this, that we started this book club party, and we didn't really know where it was going to go. We just knew we wanted to inspire each other to read more, and especially in the genre of personal development. And so here we all are 6 months later. We've got some new faces, some veterans, and we've just had a blast on this book club party ride. And we're happy that you have been able to join us. So tonight, we're going to do some discussions. We've got some partner exercises planned. And at home, we've also got in our Facebook group a thread going that you can join in with us and ask questions and share your comments. And let me know if there's anything that you want to share specifically out to the group. And we'd love to tune in with you that way. So during the breaks, I'm going to be checking in with you guys. And here live, we're just going to dig into the discussion and start thinking about what is this War of Art all about with Steven Pressfield. One of the things that I really like to talk about right out of the gate is just, so we've been calling ourselves the Mindful Mavens, right? And I like to just kind of set the tone on what that means exactly. So I don't know if any of you have been here for a little while, if you maybe want to share a little bit about what the Mindful Maven means to you. You're welcome to do that, and I'll share it as well. And it doesn't matter to me who wants to go first. Go ahead, Doreen.
Well, my experience from the Mindful Mavens book club was not only just to read a book and try to dissect the book, but we go beyond that.
Yeah.
And we take little bits and pieces and we try to apply it to our own lives. And what could be a positive factor in the book might be like a negative factor to some of us, and vice versa. The book that I read was the one about the death and then coming back to life again.
Yeah, so
and
during
the experience, even though it was a bad experience initially,
right.
it turned out to be something good. So it depends upon your attitude, how you look at things, and the people around you, how they influence you, because that was a lot of that book.
Yeah,
how she was
totally.
growing up and the culture that she grew up in, how she was influenced and things along those lines. So when I think of mindful things, you think of anything that can be going on in the whole space between here and there.
Yeah.
And there's just so much in your mind. And then once you explore it with other people, you can have a whole different perspective. And that's basically what it means to me.
That was so well said. Give it up for Doreen. I don't think we could say it any better. I mean, especially I love the part that you shared about how, you know, the mindful aspect, there's so much running around in our minds all the time. And, you know, if we've done any personal development work, we know that everything comes back to presence and mindfulness. And mindfulness is a movement now. I mean, all over the world, people are really realizing now more than any other time maybe. I know history kind of has these ups and downs of really, and I don't know like the names of all the ages, but it's like the golden age and the bronze age and all of this going up and down. And I really think we're on like a peak in terms of our presence and our awareness and our creativity. And it just seems like everywhere around the world, everybody's really tapping into what their potential really is, especially when they're mindful and conscious of what they can create. So I think that's really cool that you touched on that. And then in terms of the word maven, I like how Doreen also shared that we really share these things together and we walk away with whole new perspectives and everything, and I feel the same way. And I really think that a maven, I fell in love with this word in terms of, and now I'm kind of doing all kinds of different things with it, because a maven to me, I Googled it when I first started hearing the word, and I decided a maven to me really means that you have a desire to share what you're learning and your experiences with others, with the world, to make the whole world a better place, and especially our corner of the world a better place. It just branches out, and pretty soon, you know, the whole world really is a better place. Not a bad place to live in the first place, but as we keep working on our personal development and our personal growth, it's like being a mindful maven centers us, and we take in everything that we can take in. And by us focusing on our own personal growth, we then are able to change the world bit by bit by bit. So thank you for sharing, Doreen. And online, if you want to type in the Facebook group, I would love to hear what your feelings are about the word mindful maven and what that means to you personally as well. Any other comments before we dig into another topic?
So I don't know yet. Just here.
Just an observer. Perfect. Well, go ahead, Doreen. Yeah, tell me.
I think with it being election year,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people are mindful mavens
Mm-hmm.
because they're saying exactly what they think. And if
That's
you
a
take
great
that
comment.
perspective,
Yeah.
you can put a positive spin on it.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes Democrats don't look at things Republicans do, or vice versa.
Right.
So, you know, that's kind of a mindful maven kind of thing, because,
Yeah.
you know, they kind of overlap in different spots,
Mm-hmm.
and then in other spots, they're completely different poles.
Yeah.
But yet, you know, when you hear other people's perspectives, you know, and then there's people in the middle, I mean, that really gets you to think, because like some people could say, well, I'm really liberal about this, but I'm conservative about that, or vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of gets you by in a different frame.
Yeah, and I really like how,
Makes you think.
yeah, because I do think things like elections or politics tend to maybe bring out of us, the general population, that we're now maybe sharing more of our opinions on this topic or that topic, and maybe being more maven-y than usual. So yeah, that's interesting. I would not have thought of that. Cool. And I think there is a meeting of the minds. You know, I love hearing all sides of politics. I always listen to whoever is saying, because I'm like, maybe there's something I haven't thought of, or something I could get out of this. So there is that place that we all share ideas, and, you know, not everybody has to be right or wrong. It could all be right. Who really knows, right? So, okay, cool. So last month, we did the book Daily Love, Growing into Grace. And if you haven't had a chance to read this one, I do highly recommend this. We talked a lot about the hero's journey. So Mastin takes us through this is by Mastin Kipp, and he kind of takes us through the journey of the hero's journey and what that looks like in your life, or in certain situations, certain parts of your life. So that was super interesting last month, that we talked a lot about Mastin uses the analogy of, hey, mister. He uses my bro in dances here, just saying. He uses the analogy of the Force, because he loves Star Wars. And he loves the fact that we all have have this force within us, and we have to really touch base with that. So that was a really neat topic for last month, and the craziest things were happening last month. We, one of the members won something out of here, which I won't say what, because you might win something similar, but she opened to that something, not to give it away, but she opened to a page in that something, and she's like, oh my gosh, the book had her name in it, right on the page that she opened. And these are the kind of things, that's just one example. There was like, I don't know, 4 or 5 other things that that occurred. Hi there, this is the Mindful Maven Book Club party, and you're welcome to join us. That's all right, have a good night. So that was one of the kind of themes of last month, and I just want to share that when we start getting together in these groups, synchronicities happen that just wouldn't otherwise happen. And I remember, Jennifer, you were there at one of the meetings in the theater as well, and
January.
Was that January? So we kind of move around the library a little bit, and so at that meeting, crazy things were happening. Like people who just randomly sat together found out that they were all artists, and you know, just things like that happen. Yeah, it's a ripple. Or things like Brett Fallon walking into the meeting, and you're just like, oh my gosh, I wanted to see Brett Fallon today. So just things like that really, really make the meeting of the mind so powerful. And so I hope that you get a lot out of that tonight as well. And online, I can't believe just 6 months into this group that we have 235 members. And we do a lot virtually in the Facebook group, and we're just having great discussions in there as well. And just seeing all of us live, it tells me that there is something about this that is really catching on. And so I'm so grateful to all of you for being here live and taking time out of your Monday night. Monday is kind of, I feel like, my personal development night. And because I like to start Mondays off like, ooh, what can I get done by Friday? And I know some people are just like, oh, it's Monday.
I love Mondays.
Do you?
Yes,
tell me. It is a fresh start.
Everything's done on Monday, but I'm going to do the week.
Come on in. Yes, definitely. It's a fresh start. It's like
the only one. I guess I thought I was in one who loves Mondays.
I do. I love Mondays. And
don't get me wrong. I like Saturday and Sunday too.
yeah.
Of the work week, Monday.
Oh, the work week, definitely. Mondays are great. So with that, let's take our first little break here, and we're going to find a partner. And I think we've got almost even partners. So we'll have one group of 3. Oh, that's okay. That's okay. You have photos. That's right. Well, I'm so glad you stopped in. It means a lot to us. And before Jennifer leaves, could we just wish her a happy birthday? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Jennifer. Happy birthday to you. You sweet Mindful Maven, you. Thank you. Today is her birthday. Yes.
What do you do?
And again, the dancers. This is the dancer crowd. And maybe we've got some dancers over here too. But all the dancers sit together. Happy birthday. I'm so glad you did. I'm so glad you did.
Okay.
So I will see you Saturday for Shimmy Mob. Yes. Oh, have a great night.
My husband said that. He's like, you're welcome on my birthday. I'm like, yes, I am on my birthday. I'll see you Saturday.
See you then. Jennifer is also involved in the Shimmy Mob, which is Jennifer's involved in a lot. We'll just say that. I love you. Bye. Shimmy Mob, if you don't know, is a worldwide belly dance flash mob that happens all over the globe, and Erie is a big part of that. We've actually held the world record, believe it or not, for 2 years in a row. We're going for number 3, so if that is something you may want to get involved in, just let us know, shimmymob.com. Samantha's in it, of course, Brad is in it, and just a lot of fun. It's a way to kind of get your belly dance groove going, but you don't have to, you know, commit to the performance or anything. So all proceeds go to SafeNet, which is our domestic violence shelter here in Erie. So it's a great cause and a good time. So Jennifer's involved in that too. So nice to see her here as well. Tell me, or actually take about 2 minutes. I'm going to put some music on for you. If you don't have anything to write in or with, just come on up here and grab something. You're just going to answer 2 questions. And online, if you could do this as well, you're welcome to type these in the Facebook group or just for your own personal growth and reflection. Ask yourself, number 1, what brought you here tonight? What brought you here tonight? And this could be, you know, anything. This could be maybe you get specific on a personal goal that you're thinking about, or maybe just see what comes to you right now. What brought you here tonight? Why do you think you are here? And number 2, as we move into the discussion of this amazing powerhouse, little, tiny, but amazing, crazy book, what does resistance mean to you, and how does it show up in your life specifically? So what does resistance mean to you, or blocks, or what's another word for resistance that I'm not thinking of? Blocks, resistance. Anybody got another one? That covers it, right? How does resistance show up in your life? We're going to be talking about that a lot tonight. Yeah, procrastination. Thank you. That's the perfect word. The perfect word. Yes, totally. So how does procrastination and all of that show up in your life? And I wanted to tell you one more thing about that. Yeah, and that is just that as you're writing these down, I'm going to put the music on to just take a few minutes. You can move to any area of, I mean, we're allowed to kind of take up the whole library if we want. So you can move around if you want to get to a quiet place to think. And just be as open and vulnerable as you can, or as you feel comfortable. So I always like to say we will be discussing this. So don't feel like you have to share everything you've written, but the more open and vulnerable you can be in any kind of setting where a whole group is involved, the more we get out of it. We just find that as a trend in personal development and personal growth. So I say go for it, get it all out there, and see what kind of things will happen for you here tonight as we discuss. Good? All right, so 3, did I say 3? 2, 3 minutes on the clock, and let me get you some good music. And this goes for you too at home. You want to jot this down. We know that when we write things down, we get so much more out of it. True, true story. So let's see which music we're going to choose here. Let's see. All right, finish your last thoughts. And so as you're finishing your last thoughts here and at home, our next activity is we're going to partner up, like we said, and share together. And you just want to make sure that you divide your time between both you and your partner. So make sure that each of you gets a chance to really share the questions, you know, whatever that you want to share. And then we'll come back together and have a group chat about that. Deal? So we've got 10 minutes on the clock. Partner share, and you know, use this also as networking time. Like if you don't know each other yet, you know, feel free to ask some questions about what you do and all that good stuff as well. But do try to focus on the content at hand. I think you'll get a lot out of that. We ready? All right, 10 minutes on the clock, find a partner. And at home, if you want, again, I'll be your partner in the Facebook group, or grab whoever's around the house. You can chat with your cat. You can just continue reflecting if you like as well. All right, and we will meet back here in 10. Do you guys want to make a group of 3 actually? Since we don't have any numbers, if you guys want to and we'll see you in 10 minutes. Thanks for being here.
Okay, all right, so
All right.
So I wrote that it's one of those pieces. It's something like
So do you?
well, you can tell. It's once you focus on it and you keep working on it, you feel like you're going that it's the door is just not to it's just not and eventually it's very good at and it's easy. Sometimes I get but then I take this time. I get stuck in so far, and it just no matter what I do, there are some things. You can't make everything. Well, there are some things that I've pursued.
Okay, so I'm this is it's a major mistake.
Like it's almost like it's almost like again, and I realize
sometimes it's real efficiency. If you unnecessary, time-consuming.
I think there's a difference.
Wasting stuff.
Totally not sure.
And that's what would actually to work out. They're not going to be really fast. Anyway, situations becoming separate. I try to start getting that. For me, which is a whole lot less. It's just for the existence of change. Just going in a normal routine. I think it's true.
I mean, like for example, like it takes a lot of time to get going.
And it's why so
Once you start doing it, eventually,
Yeah, once you start doing most stuff, it's enjoyable.
there seems to be
there are things that
not because of the decision, but just because there's a force there.
right, or that
Especially because always have to resources.
I think that's true. The openness, I think, if you're not putting something down, if there's an openness to something.
But I mean, even for example, there might be people that might live in heritage and maybe they don't have a way to be
Spiritual practice.
city people that
They are just basic. What it does is it experience to go through that practice and to basically lessons of things starting with one example. The easiest I don't know that it's there's an easy practice called compliment. But looking out for the people He's very bright, he's used to his own way, he's fun, he and family, you know, he, I haven't done like an experiment with this one today. Like, and to see that this is opening inside people, sometimes with the vibration,
people say, I've been feeling, I usually miss the first thing. It might be, I'm free time.
as I walk in, I'm going
3 times. Yeah, not everything gets right. Right, but I think there's so much. I could be 3 different places and I could be 3 places. And I still.
Are you doing it by yourself?
They're two friends. You have to.
Yes.
And people still experience, people expect to do it, they want to. So,
Right.
it was free, but it's, you know, you did all the work to make it free. Because people expect it to be free, even though it's a
Residents. Okay, she should live up. We're going to say,
There's a personal development.
okay. Really?
It's good, Bob. Give her the job seeker. Yeah, that's
Which has
what was it?
I went to after, I really gave some consideration because at the bottom line is probably it's not even, even if I'm doing any of the practices, it's not because I'm not. It's because that's the same technique that they're using in other spiritual traditions. I went to yeah. Maybe paid it because I was interested in his whole background and his.
All right, let's finish up our chats and come on back in when you can. Go ahead and say goodbye or come get all snuggly again. And we'll move together, and we're just going to share a few things that really hit us about our chats. Okay, so if you just met somebody awesome, let me hear ya. Yes. Uh-oh, if you didn't meet somebody awesome, uh-oh. They might know now. No, just kidding. So how was that? How did that go? Did you feel open? Did it feel easy to share? Who wants to share thoughts? Anybody want to go first? Yeah, don't everybody jump in. I can share you also with you also. Let's give a shout out to Ina, who is joining us from Norway tonight. How cool is that? It never ceases to amaze me. Like, this is a worldwide club party, and the way technology works. Like, I can't believe it. So Ina, props for checking in from Norway. So Ina says in the Facebook group, procrastination has put a stop to some of my projects. And on Saturday and Sunday, I get more inspiration. Yesterday, I recorded the meditation for my opt-in. Nice, Ina, let's give her a round. She got a lot done this week. So yeah, do you find that the weekends, you get a lot more done, or is it better for you during the week? Anybody else want to chime in on that thought?
I'm retired, so it's all weekend.
Yeah, all weekend, nice.
I sleep too long. I sleep more than I should.
Yeah.
And I don't get up and get moving. And it takes me a long time to get moving, to get everything done. Yeah.
Gotcha. So that is a great example of resistance, and who hasn't felt that, right? Like, we've all felt that. Totally. Who did you partner with, and what did you guys share? You and Susan. Good. Do you, either of you have any comments on what it was like to work with Susan or Izzy, and what you got out of that?
Very nice to work with.
Isn't she
We
sweet?
knew each other from another group, so
Okay,
this was
cool.
the first time that we met, so it was very comfortable. And she had read the book and I had not. So when I would say that I was maybe, wasting time, taking a nap, and I didn't have a plan or things like that, she would be able to identify how that fit in with the book, so it was extremely helpful.
Oh, perfect.
She was great. She was able to focus those right away for me and tell me, what they would equal in the book.
Okay, that's great. Oh, I love how you were coaching and helping out.
The things that he said in the book were exactly what we ought to do.
Yeah,
in
it is
our own lives. So,
human nature, human
so
behavior.
there are so many examples anyone could give. Because I started taking the basic law, and I don't remember how many years ago it was. But that's what he said in the book,
Yeah.
like you start something and then you get it finished.
Yes, totally. And that's really what the whole, if you haven't read the book, I so highly recommend it, because you could really fly through this. It's a very quick read, and the whole first section is all about defining resistance, recognizing it in your life, seeing where it shows up, and then the middle book is more about moving forward and then into the end as well. So anybody else care to share about resistance and how it shows up in your life? And I would just share, it's like Izzy said, it's natural. I mean, it's very human nature. We do have to find ways to motivate ourselves. And I always like to think of it as kind of, there's no real magic button per se, like, to life. There's no magic button that we can push. I wish there was. There's all these buttons. Like, I wish I could push one, and suddenly I get myself to do all the things I've wanted to do. And so there's no real magic button. What it comes down to, and you notice this theme for a lot of us, we read a lot of personal development work and we love this stuff. And the reason there's so much of it, or I would say one of the reasons, is just because we need to hear it in a lot of different ways. We need to hear it from different authors and different speakers. I've heard Samantha speak. She's inspired me greatly. I've heard Brett speak. You know, we just need to hear it from all different areas. And every time I go to one of your talks, I take away something new that I can apply in a different way, or I'm able to master something that helps across my whole life, really. So it's really all about conditioning. And I learned that way back when I did the Tony Robbins event, Unleash the Power Within. If you haven't done that, I highly recommend it. It was an amazing, amazing experience, and one of my first real personal development seminars. And literally, we walked across fire. Like, we walked across coals to face our fear, and it was all done professionally. Don't try that at home. And we just kind of like defined our fears, and then you walk across the fire with Tony Robbins leading you through it. You would think, you know, if anything was going to make you like, okay, that's it. From now on, I shall do everything I am supposed to do. No questions asked. You would think that would do it. But Tony knows that there's so much more to it. That's why he does the fire walk on the first night. Gets you fired up, unintended, and then you spend the rest of the time on the part that's so important, which is the conditioning part. Because we have to continue to face the resistance, face the blocks, put them into habits. And that's why I love high performance work so much, because there's so much we can do high performance wise to bring these things into habit and put them into every area of our life, so that it's not so much of a battle like you see at the beginning of this book. So, Brett, you were going to have a comment.
Yeah, what I wrote down for what resistance means to me is typically resistance is one of two things, which is actually, she saw that they were opposites.
Oh,
But it
interesting.
means that it's something that I need to focus on, which is the opposite. So that's typically what resistance means. It's obviously it's something you need to focus on.
Mm-hmm.
So when you feel resistance in your life, it's kind of like, oh, what's that sort of thing?
Mm-hmm.
You need to focus on, what is this? You know, so that's something that kind of red flag, red flag, red flag. This is something I need to focus on. And the opposite is, I wrote down, if the door is not opening, then it's not my door to open.
Ooh, that's
So
good.
she said, well, how would you know the difference between something that you need to focus on and something that is just not working and is not meant for you to be worked on? And the answer to that is, typically I would think, if you focus on something and everything that is not started typically is hard to start. You know, it's kind of like that law of, what's that? The law that if something's in action, the inertia.
Oh, yeah.
So if something's not happening and didn't start, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to start it. So, for example, if Carla wants to start a book club, it's not going to be easy to start it, but it's going to be easier after she starts it, because momentum is taking place. And maybe the third one, and the fourth one, and the fifth one might be easier than the first one.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a sign that it's going in the right direction and it's supposed to happen, because it's going to be hard at first. But there is another counter to that. If there are things that really aren't meant for you, or in your time and your space, and those maybe just are not supposed to happen. And I sometimes want it. If you really want something, it's just not happening. I actually get stubborn about it, and the resistance comes, and I continue to get more stubborn, and the resistance still is there. And if I can tell that this is really something that's not meant for me, that there's no momentum being gathered, maybe just And I think we can tell the difference. Can we tell the difference between the things that are just hard to start and then eventually get the momentum, and the things that are really just not meant for us? I think you can tell the two. So I think there are things that are just not meant for us. And I think those are the doors that are just not meant for us to be open. So I think there's two types of resistance. I think resistance that maybe God is saying, no, this is really not for you, you know. And I've had those circumstances where I really, really, really wanted something. And and I'm talking about months of just pushing for it. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? And it's just not happening. And then you just said, okay, you kind of let go and you realize, oh, that wasn't for me. Does anybody have any of those circumstances happen to them? Where you've tried and it's just not happening? And I think the other type of resistance, though, is just a resistance that is something that you know you need to focus on. And once you focus on it, the momentum builds.
I like that, because I wasn't even thinking about the flip side of resistance, which is still resistance, which is when you were just really wanting to do something and it's just not working out. And I even think, if I'm wrapping this around correctly, that even may be a form of resistance. Not to get all like crazy, I don't know how many layers we have going here now, but like maybe pursuing things, like it's like a how far do you go before you're like, oh, maybe this is, not to say it could be a distraction, or it could be, just something you really want, but like Brett said, the other thing may be over here the whole time, and then you come back to this and it's like,
maybe not in this time or not in this space, I think that there's value to that. There's validity in saying that you're not meant for everything. I think that some doors are just not meant for everybody, So I do think that there's validity in that, because maybe I thought I wanted to go one direction, and there's just been this wall, and then later on in my life I realized, oh, that's why that wall was there. I wasn't meant to go through that door. You know what I'm saying? Has that ever happened to anybody?
Well, sometimes I think the door might just open the other way. Like you let go, walk around, walk in the other way.
But I think the resistance we're really referring to is just action, and to put action in our life. If we're not willing to try, that's different. And I think action in one's life is kind of what we're talking about. So when you're so focused and you're so persistent, and the resistance doesn't happen, that's a different type of resistance. But for personal development reasons, you should be willing to try and have action in your life to move forward, I think. And if you do that, and eventually momentum will help you.
Yes.
If there's signs that things are happening in life, even if it's not what you thought it was, it's just a different dynamic,
And I think part of that is letting go sometimes, and being open to what may be next for you. And I know, Sam, you were going to chime in.
And it show up too, right? If I had resistance to come here tonight because tiredness showed up, took a nap, and then
Yeah.
go.
Oh,
But
I'm
one
so
of the-
glad you did. I
For no
know.
reason,
We all feel it. Yeah.
But no, one of my favorite quotes that I meditate on in the morning is do the thing and you will have the power.
Oh, that's good. She
And
says,
I
do
do that
the
with my
thing
hands,
and
just
you
like
will have the power.
Breathe in, do the thing, and breathe out, you will have the power. It's constant.
That's
And
excellent.
the point is, like you said, just take action. It almost doesn't matter what the thing is, but you probably know what the thing is, because it's something you haven't been doing. Because it's resistance.
Yes.
So just go do it, whether it's picking up the phone or working on your book or creating whatever you're creating. Just do the thing. It doesn't have to be the whole thing, baby steps. Just do the thing, and don't get us worked up about the result. Just do the activity, because the result will come.
And I love that, because what happens when we don't do the thing? Like, how do we
You
feel?
get frustrated, you beat yourself up, you know you
Yeah.
should have, you go clean the closets.
Right.
You make every excuse to not do that one thing that would actually make all the difference.
Mhm.
And it's the doing the thing that creates the power to be able to go do whatever you want.
Mhm.
Yeah, mean, if we don't change it, our life and our life system's not going to change.
Mhm.
You know, so yeah, your question was like, what happens if we don't do the thing, then we will have the same results.
Mhm.
You know, so if that's what you want, it's a choice, you know, it's another choice.
Mhm.
So I mean, it's kind of, if you want to change, then you have to change.
And everything really is a choice. I mean, everything we do is a choice. Every moment is a choice. Like every single moment is a choice of what to do. Like when you wake up from a nap and you're like, oh, I don't want to do this, and you chose. And I'm so glad you did.
And not change is a choice, and it might even be the right choice. So,
Mhm.
you know, if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, and if it's the right thing, to be going in the right direction, change might not be the right choice. So,
Mhm.
whatever's appropriate.
And
Just
especially,
awareness is probably important.
yeah, totally. In this day and age, we're so, to use that word awareness, we're so aware of what goes on in our bodies when we're not living our life to our highest potential, and when we're not doing what we love to do. So whether we're working a job that we don't love, or we have commitments that we don't love, or whatever it might be, or however it shows up in our lives, we know. And I love that Doreen mentioned this book. You may be thinking the same thing I'm thinking right now, Doreen. One of our first books, I think it was the second month, was Dying to Be Me by Anita Morjani. And oh my gosh, it was so good. And I hadn't actually read it yet. I had just read the foreword by Wayne Dyer, Dr. Wayne Dyer. So I knew it was going to be deep, but I didn't know just how deep. And so I may not have chosen it for our second meeting. But I did, and I think there was a reason, because it went so far into detail on how important it is to do what you love to do. And, you know, Anita has a very broad spiritual belief. I do as well. And we're never out to kind of change anyone's spiritual beliefs or anything, just to kind of offer everyone's perspective. So when I say this, just know, you know, keep that in mind. But she really believes that we're here, our whole purpose is to be happy. And our whole purpose is to have joy and do what we love to do. And her perspective was that she became sick when she wasn't doing that. And it just really hit me, you know, and just it made me feel so appreciative that, number one, I'm able to do what I love to do. And number two, I want to help others do what they love to do. Again, kind of going back to that Maven theme, it just, you know, once it kind of hits you, you can't really shake that message almost. And just such a good message. And I think all of this resistance that holds us back maybe keeps us from being who we maybe really meant to be. And next topic would be, it's huge in the book, would be fear. And so when we have these great fears, I think one of the things that he really does a good job of drilling home is that they're almost like, and this is not his words, I'm paraphrasing, but it's almost like maybe a disguise. Maybe we think we're afraid of this or that, but what we are really afraid of, has anybody heard that Marianne Williamson quote that just rocks my world? Her quote is, "Our deepest fear is not that we are insignificant. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure." And that just hits me every time. And he says it in this book. I mean, you see that theme through, you know, across tons and tons of books and gurus. And he really hits it as well. He calls it the mother of all fears. He's like, the mother of all fears is that you're crazy, awesome, amazing. Again, paraphrasing. But that is like the biggest fear. So does anybody have any thoughts to kind of chime in on that topic? Go ahead, Susan. Oh, were you
That's
raising
that
your
part,
hand?
why? So why?
I think that of all the things that we fear, it's open to interpretation, definitely. I would just give you my interpretation. I think of all the things that we fear or we think we fear, it's that we would maybe have to commit to our greatness, do what it takes to continue that. Who else has thoughts on this?
I think if I can interpret some of it, our potential is there,
Mm-hmm.
that we just have to live up to it.
That we have
So
to
every
live up
day
to it.
wake up to that potential. Be that potential that we really are. And, you know, we really, if it's true, you know, one can change the world. One person can do almighty things, you know, change the world, have mighty power. So it's kind of intimidating
Mm-hmm.
a little bit to think about it. So when you don't always have that, when you're not always in the feeling of authentic power, if you're not in that state of mindset, it can be a little bit intimidating to the point you're a regular person, or we think you're an average person, to really accept your greatness, to step into your greatness and actually believe in it completely 100%. Because ideally, if you're going to create your greatness, you have to believe in your greatness. So I think that is actually the step, is to believe it.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of have to accept it. You have to accept it in order to do it. So that's the fear of actually believing that it's you who is the one. Not, you know, I think we all kind of know that we are,
Mm-hmm.
but to accept it is hard. You know?
Yeah, scary, right?
I think because I think that I believe that we are all made for greatness.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, so I say all the time. But to accept it is another thing. And I think there's fear in that because of the responsibility in that power.
And all the things that we maybe have to give up, like our resistance, because don't we get a little attached to our resistance? Because our brain just does what's easy, and our brain just does the habits that we already know. And so we have to really challenge ourselves and step into it, like you guys said, to get past that fear and do something differently in each new moment and cause the results that we want. And ultimately, all these little decisions is what adds up to our life. And so however much time we let go by, you know, you can kind of track all the decisions that lead to wherever we're at right in this moment in our lives. So yeah, that was deep, you guys. Thank you. Thank you for chiming in. On that note, I think it's time for a giveaway. We'll lighten it up a little bit. How's this? But ultimately, I know every one of us in this room, every one of us in this world, we're capable of battling resistance, of battling our fears. Yes? Can I get an amen? We can do that. Absolutely, absolutely. Especially when we're doing things like this monthly, or, you know, the books that we're reading, the people we're listening to. We're not alone in this. We've got lots of help. So, giveaway time. I got you Mindful Maven bag of books. And where are the registration forms? So I'm going to fan these out. And it's anybody's game. Except I know how to. I think Susan is feeling lucky.
Pick yourself.
It's
It's all
happened before. So significance of first, and there might be a look. Thank you. I'm so glad you woke up. Absolutely. I think Jonathan's feeling lucky. Yeah?
They gave stuff.
Izzy.
Izzy! I thought you could use $1 million. So I hope you guys enjoy those. Yeah, aren't those cute? They're so cute. Just little tastes. Oh, definitely. All right, so we were chatting about procrastination. I know Izzy helped me with that word. It was so on my mind. Have you guys seen, do you follow the blog Wait But Why?
Wait, but why?
Wait But Why. You have to follow this blog. And I believe Tim Urban just did a TED Talk as well. I haven't seen it yet, so I'm going to definitely Google that ASAP. I'll post it in our Facebook group. But basically, Wait But Why, they just kind of dissect all of life's mysteries and just such fun topics. Just really, really fun, inspirational reads. And the one that came up this month when someone in the Facebook group mentioned procrastination, this topic came to mind, this blog post, and it's called Why Procrastinators Procrastinate. And you have to Google it, you're gonna love it. I'm just gonna share a little bit with you tonight, just paraphrasing. Basically, his take on it is that we all have the same brain, and in our brain lies a rational decision maker, right? Someone who knows that we have things that we need to do and that we're here to get our work done and that kind of thing. In a procrastinator's brain, so if possibly you know yourself as a procrastinator or from time to time you've experienced it, what he's saying is that also inside that brain is an instant gratification monkey. And this monkey is inside the same brain, like all of our brains are the same, but the procrastinator has the instant gratification monkey. And this monkey is in charge of telling you to refile all of your photographs on your computer when there's work to be done, or what are some of the other examples that he gave? Going on YouTube and watching all the YouTube videos and then going on a downward YouTube spiral that lands you watching all kinds of crazy cat videos and interviews with Justin Bieber's mom, he says. I mean, that was just such a really, really fun part. And the illustrations are just the best part because eventually, so our rational brain is at the steering wheel. The monkey, by the end of the post, and there's a part that I can't share with you because I would never spoil this for you, but you have to read to the end, and whatever you do, don't scroll down. Like, don't scroll down to see how long it is. I know sometimes, like, when we get to a long post, we're like, okay, how long is this? Don't do it because you don't want to spoil it. I won't share that part. You have to just see it for yourself. But the part that I will share is eventually the rational decision maker has the steering wheel, and by the time your procrastination has taken over, the monkey is like running on the steering wheel like a treadmill, and he's like, and then we'll do this, and then we'll do this, and then we'll do this. And it's just such a good post and such a good read, and the pictures are fantastic, very simple drawings that I think you're gonna love. Have you been there? Has the instant gratification monkey taken hold of your brain? I know, right? It's just about to get that back, and all across personal development. We were talking about conditioning earlier. It's just conditioning. It's just habits. And it's just, I know we said there's no magic button, but if there were a magic button, it is presence, awareness, like Brett said. The more present and aware we can be, and I would say it's also choice and also conditioning. And really, I guess so much of that is pretty much the same thing. building these habits into our lives so that we maybe don't have to work as hard to battle resistance, and we can use things to our favor so that life flows more smoothly. And so with that, let's move into, he kind of goes into book 2, which is all about battling resistance. So, because we can't just leave it where we're at right now. Like right now, we're just like, oh my God, we're all procrastinators. So we're not gonna leave it there. How can we battle resistance? What are some awesome?
Be a yes.
Yes, tell me about that. What does that mean?
We love saying no and why not and I can't and because and blah, blah, blah. So try one for a little bit.
Try, love it.
Be a yes. Try one. Someone asks you and you want to say no, say yes. And make it work. Because we can do something anything. And it's a really fun exercise. Even just like take a day. And just say, I'm going to be a yes.
I really like that. Be a yes. Just be the yes, embody the yes, and see what happens.
Yeah, when your kids ask you, can we do this? And you're like, oh my God. Yes. Will you come with me to that thing?
Yes.
And make it work.
Okay, cool. I love it. And I think that would especially be useful if you are searching for your purpose or your mission, or, you know, what are you in this life for? Like in the example with the kids, like we're here to be there for the kids. And so, you know, that's especially useful. Okay, cool. So being a yes. What else do we got? How else can we battle these monkeys and all this resistance? Anybody else have ideas or things that you...
An idea.
Go ahead, Doreen.
Sometimes we resist things because they're just not a positive thing that we want to focus on. So if we can take something and make it the complete opposite and make it something irresistible, where everybody wants to go to that, you know, and turn it around to something positive, like you say, like cleaning the basement floor.
Yeah, like it's this example.
And that might not be something that the majority of the people want to do, because you're going to have to move this stuff in the corner of the basement over to that corner.
We make it irresistible.
Well, we can make it irresistible, like, because, number one, we can say, well, we don't know what's in these boxes. There could be a treasure chest of old photographs down there. You know, you might find some old clothes that grandma wore that could be Halloween costumes.
Totally.
You might come across old pictures that you thought you had. There might be scrapbooks of birthday cards, you know, from when you were turned 16 or 21, or, you know, there could be a whole treasure trove of things downstairs in the basement. So it's kind of irresistible to go down there and find, you know, that little Christmas tree ornament that you made in second grade that your parents hung on Christmas tree, and they saved on the chairs. So, you know, so you can flip flop it and make it a treasure hunt, or make it, you know.
Yeah, make it an adventure.
And I'm in that position right now. I have stuff down in the basement from Brett's dad and his parents and my parents and my boyfriend's parents, and all this stuff accumulated in our basement. But if I go down there, I mean, there's stuff from when he was 2 years old. There's stuff that his brother had, you know, through the years, yearbooks, photographs, things like that. So, you know.
I love that, because in being enthusiastic about it and making an adventure, it comes back to that theme I feel like we're touching on a lot tonight of just conditioning and making things habits, because you can, our brains, like we said, they just think what's easy and they think what's habitual. So if we're usually like, oh, this daunting task, the basement,
Yeah, you know,
if
it's
that's
like
our usual.
going upstairs into your grandma's attic. You
Mhm.
know, who wouldn't want to do that? I would love to be able to go upstairs to my grandmother's attic and
Mhm.
find an antique mirror, you know, a wedding gown or something like that.
Oh yeah, totally. You would never
Yeah.
know. what you would find.
We'd love to do that.
How could we even, so back to the basement floor. That's a really great example, by the way, because I don't know. I mean, who wants to paint the basement floor? I just can't think of anybody. Maybe someone who loves to paint. But what if we don't love to paint? That was the example, right? Painting a basement floor.
Yeah, why would we want to do that? We want to do it because there might be something down there.
Yeah, there
Plus,
might be
too,
something you
know,
can find.
If you're an artist, you don't have to paint the floor gray or whatever.
Love that.
Paint
Mhm.
a tree on it or hopscotch.
Or hire someone, have someone to do something artsy with it. That would be beautiful. Love, love.
Because I have so much resistance.
Tell us.
So when I read the book, you know what the
Mhm.
resistance are, those things I'm not finished. I have resistance because I'm finished. See, so I have so much resistance that this hasn't made my list of things to do.
So it's just not even on the list.
That doesn't, I don't even put it on the list. So if I put it on the list, then at least my brain will look at the list and they are. There's something I have to do.
Yeah,
So, I mean, I just have to get over that resistance and make it something.
yeah, and there's
Make
something,
it irresistible.
Irresistible, yeah. and there's something to be said for that too, like putting it on the list, as you said, because as soon as we put it on the list or put it on the vision board or journal about it, or it's so cathartic if it's something you want to kind of like release or get rid of, like start, maybe do like a 5-minute journal and be like, this basement floor, and just let it all come out. Just using that as an example. I know we're all thinking of the thing right now that we do not want to do, and whatever that might be.
Once it's done, you're not going to have to do it the rest of your life.
Yeah, that's a good too.
That's what Susan was saying before.
Yeah.
Once you get it done, so yeah, so
Yes.
I'll never have to do that again.
I told Missy that, now when she goes downstairs to do things, she sees that, whether it's, subconsciously or however, she sees that, and it probably kind of irritates her a little bit.
Mhm.
And if she was able to get it painted, or maybe have somebody come over and paint it for her, then the next time that she would go downstairs to the basement and subsequent times, then she would feel probably very good about it, because it would look neat, it would look done, and she would feel good about, how her house was. But I have
That's
things
such a
like that all
good
over my
feeling.
house,
Oh
too.
yeah, and I feel like we're meant to be talking about the basement right now because I have a basement issue, totally. There's just so many boxes and things, and that is the one room of my house that just, I would never take anybody down there, which I don't know why I would take them to the basement, but say I had to, or it's a good time for me to be. Yes, exactly.
That was a situation for me, that I had to have a workman go down, I think, to look at a washer in a house that I had lived in previously, and I thought, I am so embarrassed. And so I was trying to arrange and rearrange boxes, and I thought, this is a lost cause. So then, I'm running downstairs ahead of him, trying to say, I'm really, really sorry, this is really a mess, and don't worry about it. But I had myself all worked up about it, to the point where I just didn't even want to go down to the basement. Well, I had to, because I had to get the washer and dryer fixed, whatever it was.
Doesn't there come a point at which you have to face your resistance? There just comes a point where it's time, someone's coming, whatever it may be.
Mine was the spare bedroom. In the spare bedroom, there's the ironing board, there's a computer desk, there's tons of books, there's sewing machine, there's closet full of photo albums, and every time I go through like papers, I don't want to throw this away because I'm going to dig up my taxes. I don't want to throw that away because my granddaughter made it. And I have all these boxes, and you kind of sort of have a pass. So if I had to iron something, I had to like move the chair to the sewing machine, I had to move the shredder, I had to do this and do that just to get to the ironing board. So finally, I just start going through boxes and shredding things,
and once you get in there,
and
it's like you throw some really good music on.
oh, seriously, it's right. And even he was impressed, So, there's still work to do, but I was just so proud of myself that.
Yeah, it does. It feels good.
So
I think you have to visualizing your final goal and what that will feel like, what that will look like in your life. The visualization of it all is the satisfaction.
Yes.
So the vision board, writing it down. Once you have a final project in your mind of what intentionally trying to visualize, then I think that will stimulate you to how to create the smaller steps of what a smaller goal would be and what the smaller goal would vision. So if you're working on a room or one project, or say you're working on losing weight and you vision what it's going to look like and what you're going to look like and how you're going to feel once you lose the weight, then you start to think, oh, well, if that's what that would look like, you know, so that's what 50 pounds would look like, then I can envision 5 pounds and what that would feel like if I lost 5 pounds. And then what 15 pounds would look like, and then eventually your small visions are going to come to life. So if you can vision your whole face and what the vision, what a whole functional face would look like. Working, maybe you want a functional basin or maybe you want a clean basin. Then you can start to think, oh, well, then you're starting to think the small sections of your basin get clean. So I think if you don't have that final vision, you won't be able to do the small steps. And I think
it's so important what you're saying.
Probably envisioning how to reach, you can't envision how to reach the final product if you don't have a final product. Once you have the satisfaction of what the vision of the final is, then you can start to do the shorter goals. Because then you can say, well, what's the first step to get that? Because that's what's going to propel you to get final goals.
And that when you have that visual, getting that emotional connection and that emotional attachment to the final product or the final show or the final whatever it might be in any of our lives. So much of us being motivated is just what Brett is saying, to have that big vision and that emotional connection, because without it, it's like resistance, who wants that? But if you know there's that big thing at the end, we're so motivated that way.
Success in my life attributes to being a visionary. I can see, if I want to put on a show or an event, I can see in my head what it's going to look like. If I couldn't see that, then I couldn't do step one.
And especially knowing like how much goes into producing a show. There's so
that's just an
much.
example. Or if you want to do anything, you kind of have to see it in order to know what step one is, right? Because if you don't know what the last step is, you can't get the first step. So I think visualization is a huge part of it. If you can vision it, that's why they say if you can see it, you can dream it, you can do it. So that's the whole concept. But if you can't see it, then you can't really do it, because nothing's going to propel you to do it for the first time.
Yeah, you've got to have that, and seeing it and being that emotionally connected to it is what's going to get you through when it gets tough, when it looks like it's not going to work, when you're just like, oh, there's no way. You know, those are the things that really...
Resistance is actually putting a time date on it.
Yeah,
so
that's
you can't
good.
just say, I want this. Well, do you want this? Is that your 5-year goal, or is that a tomorrow goal? Do you want to have this done by the end of the day? That's realistic. Or do you want, I want this job. I want a job by the end of the year, and then you write it down, put it on your refrigerator, visualize it, so that you have responsibility and accountability. Not just that you want it, right? But you actually have to put time on it.
You do.
Because I think, and then that will have accountability for where you're at.
And I love, it's like you read my mind, because that's a perfect segue into our next activity here. Is just, we're going to think of something that we have had resistance around, but that is big enough and bold enough of a goal in our lives that we really, really want to accomplish it. I would say maybe like in the next year, and you can gauge if maybe there's something more time limits that you want to focus on right now, whatever that might be. Just take 1 minute, jot down everything that comes to mind about it, and let us know when it's due, when it's going to be accomplished by, and what the steps you need to take to get there, and most importantly, what is the big vision, the emotional attachment to why it needs done. Is this for your kids? Is this for your overall life? Is this for your mission? So I'm going to put 1 minute on the clock. We ready? 1 minute on the clock. Write everything you can write about your next big step. Life-oriented, work-oriented, any kind of giving back that you want to do. These are just ideas to get your mind thinking about your next goal and how you're going to battle the resistance. So we can all get in. And we'll be right back. We're just going to take a book club party picture. So we'll be right back. We'll see you in a sec.
You don't want to be in the picture?
Pictures optional.
Maybe she can take it.
Goodness for you. You might be growing and then don't. So let's do it. Let's take this one. I'll leave that somewhere on the. You guys are amazing. Oh my God. All right. One, two, three. You guys look awesome. And then let's come on and like party. So that's oh, this is great. You guys will have it. Please give yourself a and why don't you take over
Yeah, I'm so glad I got to see you. So just a couple of thoughts to wrap up. And, oh, we wish you guys could see this gorgeous sunset right on Lake Erie. Erie, PA, just giving a shout out. I heard that we just won is it a national record? Or I think it was done by USA Today. Best, #1 freshwater beaches. How fun is that? Go Presque Isle. So, I know we all love the beaches and we can see them right here. So, I love that our library is right on the lake. It just is the most beautiful place to do this. So go ahead and finish your thoughts on that goal and then we'll touch base. I'm done with that. All right, it looks like we're about ready. So if you feel like sharing, I would love to hear. Now remember, putting these things out there, this is, in my view, and according to the law of attraction, which more and more is being scientifically proven as like the real deal. We put things out into the universe, and what we put out, we attract. So I encourage you very much so to put out your goals. And if you feel like sharing, of course, if it's personal, I understand. And I'd be happy to share as well. Who wants to go first? Go ahead.
Okay. A long time ago, I hired this young lady, and I trained her in the insurance industry. And she now has her own business. She's had it for 30 years now.
Awesome.
I am now working for her. So we've come full circle.
That is
she
awesome.
Has 2 new employees. My goal is I trained the owner of the business. Now I'm going to help the owner of the business train her 2 new employees. So that's my goal. I want to get some continuing education credits lined up. I have my insurance license. That's been going for quite several years now. But I want to get some new, fresh ideas out there, and so that I'll be able to train her new employees the way I trained her 30 years ago.
That is fantastic.
Little rollover.
Yeah, I love that effect. It all started with you. That's beautiful. And what is your big,
and goal is by the end of the year.
By the end of the year, I love it. I love that you have a time on
I'm
it.
going to have a couple months to get myself in here. And then that would take us halfway through the year. And then the other 6 months to work on the 2 birds. Because there's a lot.
Love it. Yeah, that's a lot.
In 6 months.
No, that's a lot.
But just basics.
And what is your emotional connection? I mean, I feel like I can kind of sense that from you, but if you could put into words your emotional connection that's going to encourage you when things are tough, how are you going to get through to the
I
end?
have to remember that she supported me through the good times and bad. She gave me my first son's baby shower.
Aww.
We've been through weddings together, divorces, deaths. Her mom's not doing well, and I would always see her mom and her taking her mom shopping at Walmart.
Mhm.
And I love the fact that I would, you know, talk to the mom. So when she calls the office now, I know that. I know her mom personally and her mom's condition, so I feel that mom there. It's not like we're just boss of employee and make a mistake.
And
I
so at
respect
the-
her as a boss when we're at work. But yeah, outside of work, we can, you know.
You can support each other and be friends. And at the end, you'll feel that you have really helped her and connected these women in a way that sounds like only you really can, and you are meant to do this. This
Yeah,
is
that's-
beautiful.
Yeah.
Yay, congrats. Let's hear for Doreen. Awesome. We'll be following you.
I was the only one who ever hired her. Because
Okay.
she got right out of high school,
Mm-hmm.
and she was gonna apply for a job someplace on State Street, and she saw this building, and she walked in and applied, and I interviewed her, and I hired her.
That is fantastic. And now she has followed her dream. You're going to follow your dream. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Who's next? Anybody?
I'll go.
Go ahead,
This
Susan.
isn't real exciting, but for those of you that don't know me, I am a nurse. I've been a nurse for 41 years. And I do travel for my job about 20 to 26 weeks a year. I travel and I teach nursing review courses. I was in the military for 31 years and I've been out for 6 years now. So
Awesome.
I feel that I don't sometimes take care of myself the way I teach other people to take care of themselves. So I don't think I
Good
pay
insight.
attention to my own lessons sometimes.
Mhm.
So what I did is I put down different things like the body mass index. It's supposed to be below 25. So for me, I want mine down to 23, and that's not abnormally low or anything. So by my next year's physical, which is a little bit more than a year from now, when I turn 62, I want my body mass index to be 23 or lower. And then I do have numbers for my blood pressure, my cholesterol, LDL, HDL, all those sorts of things. And some of the
Good.
ways I want to get there, Izzy and I are in another group, a vegan group. And I'm not totally vegan yet. I'm not even totally vegetarian. So I'm trying to get there. So some of my little baby steps in trying to do that would be, you know, to kind of shore up my diet a little bit, exercise some more, decrease stress, all those sorts of things. But my overall outcome is very measurable, and that's what I like about this.
Yes. Yeah, that is very measurable. And your big emotional connection, how is that going to make you feel and on the other side of that?
Oh, I think it's going to make me feel good, and I'm going to feel, I think, more honest, maybe. I don't know if that's a word or not, but more honest when I'm trying to teach other people about this. Because if I can maintain this at age 62, and I'm teaching people that are 40 years younger, you know, I think it will make a little bit more sense.
That's beautiful.
It'll just make me feel better about myself.
Absolutely. There will be a congruency there when you're talking to them and living your own life. And I think that's so important. And I applaud you for that goal. Let's hear for Susan. That's awesome. Awesome. Thank you for sharing. And let's do one more.
You want me to go?
I saw your hand up. Go ahead.
This is actually kind of a simple thing. It might, but it sounds simple for me. It's not. It's something that I've been trying to do more and more. I'm trying to allow to keep my schedule open, so that I can do more of what I want to do. So this really kind of means just because something comes into my schedule doesn't mean I have to do it. I have the choice to do it. So I think we're asked to do a lot of things in life, but there is intent and purpose. So you have to kind of, I believe that you should be choosing your life schedule as if there's nothing in it, and you're choosing everything for yourself. Not doing things just because people are asking you to do it, and awesome, you just go to it.
I love that.
So
Everything by
actually,
choice.
Yeah, if
That's
you are
excellent.
actually doing this, then ideally you're waking up doing what you want to you're waking up with intent of purpose. So it seems an easy thing to do, but schedules still upset people, right?
Yeah.
Seasons go by where you find yourself doing things for other people, and it's not that you can't or shouldn't be doing it for other people, right? You should be honoring that and having relationships and doing appropriate things for appropriate people and having that accountability for other people in our lives and giving, right? Shall be giving ourselves. However, if we want to be living a purposeful life, we should be making sure that our schedule is free enough so that we have time for that purpose, right? So sometimes I feel like I fill my schedule, my season up so much that at the end there's not time for me to actually do what my life mission is all about initially. Anyways, I'm doing everybody else's mission because I said yes too much. So that does involve saying no.
No,
Which
it
is
can be
okay
hard.
because we all have the choice, which is again awareness that we're saying we have the choice to say yes or no. So I think if you leave your schedule open enough, then you allow yourself to have the time to do what you wanted to do with it. So my continued goal is to have a schedule that's open enough where I can actually do the mission that I felt like I meant to do more.
And can you tell us, I have a feeling this is going to flow into your emotional connection
Yeah, I
piece.
think it makes you, I think this obviously makes you happier when you're doing what you're meant to do. So this is just to create happiness and joy. So when you're waking up doing what you've always wanted to do, it's going to make you a happier person. You're going to be happier. And actually, people might not realize it might sound like a very selfish move if you go make this move, but in the end, it allows you to be more of a giver. Because really,
Definitely.
you're being made and conditioned to do what you were meant to do anyways, which is what you were supposed to be doing and meant to be doing, which conditions you to be a better giver anyways. So if you are doing what you're purposely made to do, ideally, you're being conditioned to be a better giver, and receiver. So I think so in the long run, you are made to give, but to give the way that you always know, not what people are putting on you.
And that's when you really go into flow.
Right.
And everything just starts working and
you realize you're not fighting it so much because you're actually doing what you were meant to do, because we all know that we know what we were meant to do the most. Nobody can tell you that, really. We can have self-help and guidance, but I think it's built deep down in everybody that we are all designed for something, like I said, we're all created for something great. Be unique. So if we can tap into that, it's more efficient anyways.
It is. And first, let's hear for Brett. That's a beautiful, beautiful love. And I've been following you for so long. I think, what has it been, like 7 years now? We got to keep track. But we just, our missions are very much tied together. And I just love the work that you do. And I see how saying no more often, I just think that's an amazing goal. I think we should all have that goal. I see how that would help. And no can be hard to say, but you can practice it.
Yeah,
it gets easier.
It's a breath thought. Do I really want to say yes, or am I saying yes because of something else, like an obligation? If the obligation is important and you're feeling that if you're responsible or held accountable, or there's a relationship thing that's but that's not how you should be living 100% of your time, is through owed responsibility, right?
Yeah.
You're not supposed to be living your life 100% of the time owing a debt. You are to be living your purpose.
Yeah.
And the more 100% of the time you're living that, the more authentic of a person and happy about yourself you're going to be.
And
So that does
abundance.
require, that will require initially a no.
Mhm.
And it's okay. It's okay to say that, but you'll be able to say yes to who needs to pray.
Mhm.
And that's ultimately what this is all about, is saying yes to ourselves. And that's what she said. She
Mhm.
said, you won't be able to get to your own goals if you're trying to complete nonsense and you'll be running circles, you know?
Mhm.
So I'm not saying disregard responsibilities and disregard relations. I'm saying focus on purpose, your purpose.
Mhm.
And that might require an alternate, a way to alter your time.
Can I just see thank you, Brett, that was just so well said. Can I see a show of hands?
Oh, wait, I'm gonna do this by the end of this season, because my season's
Oh
already
yes,
taken up.
thank you. We need to
So by the
go
end of
and go.
spring, you know, my spring is already taken, so my summer now is free. I want to try to hold that freeness of time
Nice. So
and
you're
not
gonna
try
be
to
saying those
occupy it
numbers.
with, so that's my accountability time limit.
I love that. That's perfect. Who feels that you really know your purpose and your mission? I'm just curious if we do a show of hands. Know our mission in this life. Okay, good. I see some of these and some. Yeah. It's such a. I feel like if you don't feel like you do, of course, it's nothing to feel like you're missing anything or, why don't I know my mission yet? It's something that evolves. And I really think that maybe if you feel you don't know, maybe you weren't supposed to know yet, and that's part of your mission. And, you know, there's just so many layers to it. But by the end of this book, and we're just going to kind of wrap, I think, on this thought, as we go through life and we're searching these things out and we're finding the things that make us happiest, and we are exercising our right to say no and our ability to say no and choose the things that mean the most to us and take us to that purpose. As we go through this whole journey of life, that I feel so grateful to be on this journey with all of you. Like, here we are. We're all alive, and there's so many things we can do with our lives and that we're already doing right now. Just think about how Steven Pressfield talks at the end of this book. It's that we don't want to cheat anyone out of what we really have to offer. So our job, essentially, and why it's so important to battle our resistance and to, you know, be a maven like we were talking about, and learn about ourselves and learn about our growth and what makes us emotionally connected to things, and all of that takes us on that path and keeps us on that journey of growth. Growth makes us so happy. And when we look back after we've achieved a goal, we're even happier looking back at the growth we've made to get there. It's like, yes, the goal is amazing, but what made it amazing, what made it so special is all the moments we spent thinking and reflecting and the process, of course. And it's like age-old wisdom. I mean, it sounds like common sense, but I love how my mentor Brendan is always saying, how often do we make common sense common practice? So just, I would say, in effort to battle a resistance over the next month, I've got the new book to share with you. But taking everything we've taken from this book and knowing that there are people out there waiting and listening and hoping that we feel and reach our mission and our purpose, we don't want to, our whole thing in battling our fear is to help others see that they can do it as well, that they can find their mission as well, that they can face their fear as well, you know, that they can say no as well. You've inspired me tonight. Everybody's inspired me tonight. I can do my basement. Darn it all. Like, I can. One box at a time. One box at a time. Well, the next party will be in somebody's basement. We'll just like make the rest. So just take that with you tonight as you go out into the world. We're all going to be the mavens that we're meant to be. And we're going to share our messages with the world, and we're going to light up the people living right next door to us or across the street or at our next meeting or group. And we really all have that power, every single one of us. So that is definitely what I got out of this book, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you haven't read it yet, highly recommend it. And with that, thank you again so much for being here. And are you ready with the next book? Okay. So, moving into what are we? March. This is April. So, April's meeting, which I believe is April. Oh, I did not memorize that date. That's one of my jobs. April, I want to say 18th. Thank you. Yes, that sounds good. Third Monday. Thank you so much, Susan. You got me covered. So, April 18th, we'll be gathering, and I'm not sure if we'll be here or in the theater, because when we do interviews, sometimes we're over in the theater and sometimes we're over here. So we'll work that out. So we may be there or here, but either way, we're going to be reading this book. And this book came to me at a time when I needed it. That's another thing. I feel like I say this every month. I am always like, this book changed my life. This book came to me just when I needed it. But that's what happens, right? That's how books operate, the little things. So Gabrielle Bernstein is the author. And this past month, we kind of delved into more of the psychological side. And so we've been kind of alternating psychological, spiritual, and I think we need the whole package. So this is more in the spiritual realm. It's a 40-day guidebook of subtle shifts for radical change and unlimited happiness. I've only just started it, so I'm going to be reading this right along with you guys, and I can't wait to share and collaborate on ideas in the Facebook group. It is May Cause Miracles, Gabrielle Bernstein. And I don't know if you're familiar with Gabrielle, but she just rocks. She's based out of New York City, and she's been featured on Oprah's Super Soul Sunday, obviously best-selling author, and just highly inspirational, very spiritual figure out there right now, and I just adore her. I think we're going to have a blast with this book. And I have to share this with you really quick. So I most often get my books used from Amazon, and I'm not opposed to any other ways of getting my books. It's just that's my habit, so that's what I do. If I didn't write all over them, I would borrow them from my local library, which I highly encourage as well. For those of you who don't ruin the book when you read it, that is always an option. And this one came to me with a Metro ticket. So this is a used paperback version, and it's a Metro ticket of some sort of public transportation, which just I've been using as a bookmark, because I'm like, oh, somebody just sent me a little bookmark. It made me really happy. I don't know what city, but I'm like, oh, this person loves to travel. It just, I don't know, I love things like that. But this is the inscription in this book on the front cover, and I always do this when I give a book out to someone. I write a little something about either what the book meant to me or what it did for me. And this one says, Cassie, Alora recommended this book, so I bought 2. Miss you and love you always, Mama. Is that so sweet? And so I feel like my mom would do the same thing, and it just is the cutest thing. I love when you have a good book and you've just got to share it with somebody, so you buy 2 and then you both can read it. Beautiful sentiment. So enjoy. And I've got one more giveaway, because I always like to give a copy of the current book that we're reading away. However, my current book didn't come in time, so I'll be giving that away next time. But I've got another one that I know you're going to love, and who's feeling lucky? Who wants to choose? Remember, you can pick your own. Okay, so the council minute has happened before. Let's go to this side.
Make yourself.
I'm not joking.
Oh, wow.
It's Jeanette. I told you it could happen. Oh my gosh, I love this. Love it. Let's hear it for Jeanette. And this is your book, Change Your Brain, Change Your Life. Dr. Daniel Amen and Change Your Brain. Yay, thank you so much. So on that note, guys, just want to say goodbye to our worldwide audience. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Here from Erie, Pennsylvania, the Erie Public Library. We'll make sure you get a picture of that sunset that we took earlier. It was gorgeous. In fact, it's still gorgeous. So we're going to enjoy that a little bit longer over here. Before we sign out, I just want to say, remember to take action, everyone. All of the insights that we've gathered here tonight, give yourself 20 minutes to a half an hour, either tonight or maybe tomorrow morning, and jot down all of your action steps that you're going to take. Anything you've been inspired to do, because in our last month's book, Mastin talks so much about spiritual entertainment and how sometimes we get so inspired and fired up when we go to an event and we feel this energy with everyone around, but then we just don't do anything with it. So that's the definition of spiritual entertainment. Take action, take loving action, and go out there and be the mindful mavens in the world that I know you already are, and we all can be together. Thank you so much for being here. I love you all, and we'll see you next month. Thank you. Thank you so much, and goodbye online. Mwah. We love you. Thanks for being here. And I'll see you on Facebook.